Hi everyone, I'm Erin McMurrow. Welcome back to Lakewood Vineyards Cook and Cork Season 2. As you can see, I'm currently in the cellar where things are chilling down with some cold stabilization, but they are heating up in the kitchen as Chef Abby, Chef David, and Chef Kaye battle it out for the coveted golden spoon. Now today's mystery ingredients include pork belly from Bostrom Farms, butternut squash from Muddy Finger Farms, and sour cherry jam from Los Gatos. Now, our featured wine is our 2018 Riesling. Now, at Lakewood Vineyards, we produce 4 different styles of Riesling. This Riesling is the most popular, and it is that classic Finger Lakes right between dry and sweet. Pairs with so many delicious dishes. It's just gonna be really exciting to see what the chefs do with this one. So judges, we need you to review all of the photos and all of the videos before voting on the most successful dish based on originality, incorporation of the mystery ingredients, as well as presentation. Now, it's pretty well known that Riesling is the king or the queen of the Finger Lakes, but you get to decide who's the king or the queen in the kitchen. So cheers and enjoy.
Welcome back to Cook and Cork for Season 2. I'm really excited to be back this year, and I'm really excited about the ingredients I have to work with today. We've got some pork belly here, we've got butternut squash and some sour cherry jam as well, and the wine that I'm pairing it with and cooking it with is our 2018 Riesling. This is really exciting because I think that's one of the most versatile wines that we make, so the options are endless. But of course, because I personally love tacos and like turning everything into tacos, that's what I'll be doing today. Smoked pork belly tacos. I'm gonna stick this in the smoker briefly to add a little edge that probably some flavors that the other chefs aren't going to have in their dishes. And then I'm gonna put some crunchy vegetables on it. I'm gonna pickle some onions with the Riesling and the sour cherry jam to get a little bit of a tangy zest to it. And then for dessert, we're gonna cap off those crispy pork belly tacos with a butternut squash mousse. And then that's actually gonna be a vegan recipe because I'm gonna use some coconut cream in there to give it some richness. So let's get cooking. So now I am cutting up the pork belly and I'm gonna put it in a rub I made here. This rub actually has some of the sour cherry jam in there, then a bunch of different spices. And then I'm actually going to throw it in the smoker with cherry wood. So those should complement each other nicely. So now we're gonna throw the pork belly in the smoker and give it about 20 minutes in there just to get a little bit of a smokiness to it before we air fry it. Okay, so while the pork is in the smoker, I'm gonna work on making the dessert. So I've got the mousse setting in the fridge, but I'm gonna make a topping here out of coconut cream, some maple syrup for sweetness, cinnamon, and I think I'm gonna add a little Riesling too, because why not? Gonna mix this all up and stick it back in the fridge. All right, so now we've got the pork belly in the air fryer here. We're getting it nice and crispy. We'll just pop it back in there for a couple minutes and then we'll be ready to assemble our tacos. Okay, we are finally done with our tacos and our dessert here. So I've put some chipotle mayo. Oh, whoops, that looks like it's the wrong plate. Some chipotle mayo on the tacos with some crunchy veggies, pickled onions that have Riesling and the sour cherry jam, cilantro, and of course the smoked and air fried pork belly under there. Cannot wait to try these. And for dessert, I've got my butternut squash mousse topped with coconut cream, which also has Riesling in it because we want Riesling in everything. A little bit of grated chocolate on top, and I can't wait to dig into that deliciousness there. So I can't wait to see what Chefs Kaye and David have in store. Not too worried about David. I think the only thing I wouldn't challenge him in is a dance-off. As far as Kaye goes, I'm pretty sure she sustains herself solely on saltines and melted cheese. So I think it's gonna end a lot like our Fitbit challenges do, with me on top and her trailing 10,000 behind. So enjoy, cheers, and thanks for joining.
Happy day, everyone. My name is David Hertel, and welcome to my segment of Cook and Cork. Today, I'm working with some really nice slab of pork belly. This is a premium sour cherry jelly, butternut squash, and some Lakewood Riesling. I will be using this to cook and also prep with. Right now I'm going to take a little segment of prepping with it. So what I plan to be doing with all of these ingredients is to dice, season, and roast or fry the pork belly. I'm going to glaze it with the cherry jelly. I'm going to be roasting the butternut squash with some Brussels sprouts, also using another half of it to make a cake with. And then I will also be using the Riesling in with the glaze and also the cake. Took half of the butternut squash, put it aside, and then had this dish with a little bit of water in it, microwaved it for about 10 minutes to really soften it up. So I have it really softened right now, and now I'm going to, with the hand blender, puree it. And just for good measure, I'm adding a little bit of the Riesling to just put it all together. So I'm just going to continue on cutting this down, and I'm going to be making them into smaller, just cut that back in half. So I have finished cooking the pork belly. It's all rendered and has the cherry glaze cooked. And I'm just going to take a quick, oh my God, this is so good. All right, everyone, I have plated the pork and the butternut squash. I've taken the cake out of the oven. It sat for a few minutes to cool down. Just going to flip this over. Look at that beautiful brown. It's still got a little steam coming out from it being fresh from the oven. And now I'm going to just dust it a little bit with some powdered sugar to add to the presentation and a little extra sweetness onto it. So, you know, the last time I did this Cork and Cook event, I wasn't really on my game, but you know, not today. I am on it. Kay, Abby, look out. I have this going on, and you ladies gonna have another thing coming to you today. There you go.
Hi, welcome back to Cooking Cork 2.0. I'm Kay Stamp, and I am here to cook for you today using some mystery ingredients. The mystery ingredients include pork belly, sour cherry jam, and one of my favorites, butternut squash. And these autumnal overtones of the ingredients work perfectly with the any season Riesling. The Riesling is going to have overtones of pear and honey, and the crisp acidity in it will work well with the dish that we'll be preparing, and that is our maple cherry butternut squash with pork belly crumbles. Now, as though dinner weren't enough, we're also going to prepare a dessert for you. Using Basque pears, we're going to do stuffed steamed pears. And it will go extremely well with the Riesling. Actually, it'll be poached in the Riesling also. And then the pear tones of the Riesling will be brought out in the steamed pear dish. So thank you for joining me, and let's get cooking. So first, we are going to prepare the butternut squash. I'm going to turn the oven on to 375, which is a great baking level. Glasses, got it. And then I'm going to peel the butternut squash and cut it into 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch cubes. Butternut squash in with the spices, the dried fruit, and the pecans. A little bit of Riesling to moisturize it. And it smells so good. I actually cut the pork belly into smaller pieces and air fry it, which is going to make it nice and crispy. And pork belly is something I've never really worked with, but was investigating a little bit about the history of it, and it's very interesting in that pork belly is one of the pioneering financial instruments in the commodities market. I have taken and cut the top off of a pear. I have then peeled it, I have hollowed it out, and I will be stuffing it with a mixture of butter, brown sugar, pecans, and dried craisins. cranberries. And so you have it, our maple cherry butternut squash dish. It's paired with some spring greens and topped with pork belly crumbles, and it smells delightful. It actually tastes delightful too. And we have paired it with our Riesling, goes well with all these nice autumnal flavors. We also have the Riesling with the pear that has been stuffed with the butter and brown sugar. Really nice flavors coming through. So Abby, you're a great winemaker, but stick to making wine. And David, I know in our first competition, you actually voted for me. So feel free to do that again. Thank you very much. Cheers.